Good morning. Just wanting to share just a quick little kind of wake up, shake up, and hip mobility and strengthening practice that actually just a little short one that I would suggest on the daily just to keep the hips moving and limber. So just come up to standing. Just going to start to kind of shake out the legs. So actually just lifting it up, just kind of shake one out. So it's not just like a kick, but actual shaking. Shaking the legs, and wiggle the hips around. Kind of do that, get the hips going, the shoulders. And like really start to give the body a little shake. With the arms up over the head and a little shake here. Scrunch the hands and flick the fingers or flick the palms. Shake the wrists. Shake, shake, shake. Just kind of doing it all, just getting the lymph and the blood flow moving here. Just give it a big, big wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. All right. And just kind of feel into that. Maybe take a nice big inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, reach the arms down. Big breath in, up. And exhale, the hands come down. Okay, so grabbing, I have a bolster with me. If you have a block, a bolster, or even a thick book. I did use this, do this earlier with a book. So pillow is definitely going to be harder, but you decide. So just coming up to stand on that with one leg. And then with your other leg, just start to swing. So if balancing feels a little wobbly, you can always just touch down. Don't worry about it. The purpose is not to maintain like complete balance here on the one leg, but just to start to just get a sense of freedom in this hip, that swing. There might be a tendency to want to bend from the knee, but just allow the knee to just kind of move naturally and keep this movement from the hip. Just swaying that. Working to kind of stabilize through the rest of the body so that you're not arching through your back or rounding through the spine as you do this, but just swaying the hip right from the hip socket and the leg here. All right, and then just coming off of that. Always nice to just kind of feel, just notice what the difference is between the two legs. And then just moving that over to the other side. So just stepping on your item of choice and just swaying through the leg. So again, just not arching through the low back, just keeping this right from the leg. Freedom in the hip. Nice. All right, I'm going to come off with that. Stepping the feet wide now. Have the toes pointed out. So just come up nice and tall here and actually lift your toes. You'll feel your big toe mounds kind of root down into the earth. And as well, can you kind of dig into the heels a little bit more. So you kind of feel like you're activating down through the legs. Spread the toes and let them rest down. And as you do that, can you get this sense of like pressing down into the earth? So there's lots of activation in your legs. And then also find the sense of drawing the feet in towards each other. So when you do that, not just simply gripping through the toes, but actually activating through the heels and the outer edges of the feet as if you could draw everything together. So just let the toes kind of work, but not entirely grip onto that. So quite activated through the legs. And then maintaining that activation, start to bend down through your knees, sending them out towards your toes, just dropping down and coming back up. So we're not just kind of flopping and moving through this, but really active with that pressing down of the feet and the drawing of the feet in towards each other. I'm just moving up and down a few times here. If it feels like your knees are collapsing inwards, maybe just guide your hands to the outer edges of your legs so you can press your legs out into your hands. Just doing this a few times. And just breathing. This should feel fairly warming or even fatiguing to the hips and the legs. So really active here. And just 2 more here. Nice. And then just walking the feet back together. We're actually going to come down to the floor now. So just find something to give a little bit of elevation to your hips. Whatever's most comfortable here for you, so that you can extend the legs out in front of you. You don't necessarily have to have a straight leg if it feels like you're collapsing in your low back. So you can bend the knees, point the toes up towards the sky. Your hands can support you either behind you or alongside you. And just start to tick-tock or windshield wiper the feet and legs. So it's not moving from the ankles or the knees, but the entire leg is as one structure. So you're actually moving from internal and external rotation of the hips here. Just kind of lubricating the joints of the legs, especially into the hips. And a couple more like that. All right, and then sit the legs a little bit wider. Same thing, if you feel like you're collapsing backwards, just have that nice big bend in your knees where the toes can reach up towards the sky and the spine can stay lengthened here. So you can always lean back into your hands. And again, so finding that same motion from the hip, pointing the toes and the knees inward and outward. So that internal and external rotation. Good morning, I think that's Christina. So just a few more like this, just breathing slowly. All right, nice. I'm gonna bring the legs up. And we're gonna come into sitting in a 90 position-ish. So whatever's going to work for you. So 90-90 meaning you're coming on to, I don't know, I've called it mermaid position before. So where you're creating 2 90-degree angles as much as you comfortably can with the legs. Draw the toes in towards the knees when you do that. And it's totally normal to want to lean back into your arm or your hand, and that's fine. So if you need to bring the feet in closer towards your body, do so. Just find a comfortable position here. Toes are active towards the shins, and then everything's kind of pressing down. Hi, great, she's going to join in here. Pucha loves this one. All right, so pressing the legs down in here. Okay, and then if you can see my back knee, which I think Pucha's in the way, but I'm going to get you to start to lift that back knee. Okay, and this doesn't have to be a large movement, and it's likely not going to be a large movement. I just want you to get going, get going, get going, get going. Just start to lift and lower that knee. And just notice again that the movement's happening from your hip. You're not swaying the body back or anything like that. We're just lifting from the knee, and only doing so just in a comfortable place. There's no pain in the knee or the ankle or the hip. It might feel tight, that's normal. Just lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. All right, then take a moment. We're going to turn towards your front leg. Maybe you can have hands on either side. And then can you actively press the legs down in towards the floor? Turn your chest towards that front knee and just start to hinge forward slightly. So you're not trying to like reach your nose to the floor or anything, but just a nice hinge. And this should feel active. You're actually pressing everything down and towards the floor and just hinging over that front leg. Nice, and release from that. And then again, this back hip. So you're gonna lift it up and draw it towards the front space and then pull it back towards the floor. So just lifting it up and pulling it back. Just a few like that. Staying fairly active through ankles and lower legs as you press them down. Just moving here. All right, and then because it's a nice rotation to your spine, we'll reach around again, sort of towards that front knee. Just find a rotation to your spine. Nice and tall, you can press down into the hands, root down through the legs, maybe gazing over the opposite shoulder. Take a few breaths here. Nice, and then just come on back up. Bring the knees up, extend the legs out in front of you again. So sitting on the sit bones, legs in front, maybe a bend in the knees, and again, just a washer from side to side, moving from the hips. The more you practice this, the more you'll find that you can sit up taller with ease and that you can extend the legs out in front of you more comfortably. So just meet yourself where you're at. If you have a nice big bend in your knees, that's totally fine. It's all the same movement. And then again, wide legs. And same thing, rotating from the hips. Nice little massage to the heels. Okay, and then coming to the other side, so that same 90-90-ish position that is available to you. Toes are drawing up towards your shin and you're fairly active through the legs here. Stay up nice and tall. One side's always going to feel very different, so just nurture that. If you need to lean back, that's totally fine. And we'll start to just lift that back knee and lower. Lifting and lowering. Moving from the hip. And even if the movement's just like a tiny lift, that's okay. You're just gaining the mobility and strength in the hips. And with practice, that'll change over time. Beginning to sit up tall and then come towards that front knee, hands maybe on either side of the leg, and just a little hinge here. And then actively pressing everything down in towards the floor. And then coming up, taking that back hip, drawing it forward, plugging the bum back down towards the earth, lifting the hip, bringing it down. Just a few more like that. And then we'll rotate around, just creating a twist to the spine, maybe gazing over opposite shoulder, sitting up nice and tall, breathing softly here. And then coming back through center. Come up with the knees fairly high this time and the hands behind you. And just drop the knees from side to side. Still allowing your hips and your spine to move with you. Nice. And then come on over. I would suggest having like a block or books or chair or whatever, something in front of you that you can just put a little bit of weight into. You're gonna actually tuck your toes under and then just take your time to sit back towards your toes or towards your heels. So toes are flexing under. That might feel really intense, especially in the morning if you're doing this in the morning or any time of the day really. So just take your time. You can come up and you can sit back down. Just taking a few breaths into the feet and the toes. And coming off of that, maybe just give the tops of the feet just a little bit of tapping. Nice. And then let's come back up to standing. All right, so just give again that little bit of a shake. A little bit of shake, shake, shake. All right, we'll just do a quick little sequence here. I'm just taking an inhale, reaching the arms up, and exhale, folding over the hips. Nice big bend in the knees. Let your head relax, let your arms relax. Maybe a sway or bending of your knees one at a time. You stay rooted through those big toes, big toe mound. Maybe opposite elbows and a sway from side to side. Bend your knees a lot. Start to lift your chest. Inhale, root your feet and rise your palms again to the sky. Reach up, touch all 10 fingers together. And then exhale, reach the arms way back behind you as you again fold over your hips. Bend through the knees. Come into a forward fold. Let that go. Move around, wiggle, sway. And then from here, you're going to bend your knees a lot. Clasp your hands, press your palms forward, root down through the feet, rise the palms up towards the sky. Send the hips slightly forward, soft bend in the elbows, root down through the feet, down through the outer edges of your heels. So feel like you can make a footprint down and towards the earth. Come on up and over to your side. Nice soft breath here. Stay rooted through those feet, hips slightly forward. And come on up, over to your other side. Soft breath here. Reaching up. Bring the hands back behind you to clasp. Open up through the chest, through the heart. And if that's not comfortable for your arms, you can always just push your fists into your low back and lift up through the chest or the palms to the low back. And then just coming back to standing, just give that little shake. And standing into your mountain posture, rooting down through the feet. Take another inhale, rise the palms to the sky. Touching all 10 fingers above you, not even looking at the hands, just finding the fingers in space. And then exhale, bring the hands down to your heart center. Let everything sink down into your feet. Feel the weightedness and the rootedness of gravity connecting you down to the earth. Feeling that tall, soft lift through the crown of your head and softness to your shoulders and your heart. Maybe just taking a moment to reflect on one word that feels as though you could invite that into your day, your next hour, even your next few moments. Thank you for sharing your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.